think because it's been a pretty organic process, even though we did a lot of prep work, seeing how we got to each episode and organically got to the next one, I think it's on brand with our theme of
I was
being rooted.
going to say our theme of being rooted and being human in that we don't have it all mapped out necessarily. We had the gift of reason. We can plan. We can figure out how to get from point A to point B, but we're not omnipotent. So it's very fitting that we're able to grow in our series the same way we're able to grow as human beings over time. And that's how the spiritual life is. Of course, some people, not everybody, will have these St. Paul getting knocked off the horse moments, or maybe you have a mystic who sees a great vision and it just changes them. And that's a very real experience. But what after that? You're still growing. Even saints are growing. But if even they're growing, most of us who don't necessarily have the big conversions experiences every day, most of our spiritual life is just we're growing in small virtues day by day, tending the garden of our spiritual lives day by day. And we might not see anything grow, but over time you look back and it's like, oh yeah, that's taller now. And the spiritual life is a gradual process. And so that is very, very fitting in that way.
I have a visual representation of it right now because I'm really trying to take care of my plants. I'm like historically so bad at keeping them alive, always have been. I've been trying to be a lot better at it because I have a coworker who's constantly reprimanding me when they look dry. So I've been really trying. This year I received some poinsettias around Christmas and they were pink and so cute. And so I got two poinsettias. And one of them I put outside. I was like, oh, it's looking kind of glum, like maybe it needs a little sunshine, and it shriveled up and died because I made it worse. And I looked up, how do you take care of a poinsettia? And it said poinsettias need 18 hours of darkness. And I was like, great, I just killed it by putting it in the light. I'm so sorry.
That's not what I would have expected either.
18 hours of darkness. And I was like, okay, wow, I just messed up real big time. But the other poinsettia, the one that was pink, I put it in a darker room in my house. And it definitely was shriveled for a long time. And I started like trimming off its little dead branches. And as soon as I did that, little baby leaves started growing on it. And poinsettias are interesting because they only have the colorful leaves once in their entire lifetime. Poinsettias aren't flowers, they're leaves. They're just colorful. And, I think poinsettias are an interesting representation of like some people's spiritual lives, that some people need 18 hours of darkness and then
Hmm.
they only get color once in their life. And then they're like little green leaves after that. I've been trying really hard this Lent to tend those little living things, these growing things, and speaking life into them and watering them. And I can see too how ordinary that is. And I think as we round out this series, like I think there is this ordinary element of everything that we've talked about. I know certainly we haven't, figured everything out and said, this is how to be more human. We haven't given really a step by step process on that because I do think it's pretty subjective for different people. Um, and I hope that there's another encyclical in the future that we can discuss and come back to it. But in the downtime between I think this episode and whatever is next, I know there's like a lot of ordinary growing that's going to be slow, but also I think there's going to be that exciting element of the little baby leaves that we see in our lives and in our communities, God willing, too, that are growing, and it's worth growing.
To use your plant analogy, I want to grow an entire greenhouse or something. It's like, well, I can't grow the greenhouse. I don't have the land or the materials or the time or whatever for it. So that's it. I'm just doing nothing. Well, there is an in between here.
Hmm.
You can get the poinsettia, you can get the roses, you can do all that and just start tending whatever garden you can, even if it's in the back of a suburban backyard or an apartment balcony or whatever it is. You're still doing something. And as cliche as it might sound, especially, with the plant analogy, bloom where you're planted, there really
Hmm.
is something to that, to have just a little bit of beauty in your life, some kind of connection to nature. It's not an all or nothing mentality.
Hmm.
I know I have a tendency to forget that. I have found it's important to remind myself that whatever small thing I can, it's not going to match up to what our ancestors could do, but I'm doing something.
I know for me, it's easy to get discouraged when you can't hit the mark that you're trying to hit, right? Like you said, the greenhouse, like I want a vineyard, like I want to be able to have
Hmm.
grapes and make wine and all of that. But you can't have a vineyard without doing the little orchid you got for your birthday or the little roses or the little poinsettia. It is important. Like you said, do the little thing that you feel like you can do. And for us, our first garden is this little series. Maybe the seed planted was the Rerum Novarum book study we did last summer. Yeah, we'll see where God takes this. I think the two of us are very surrendered to that, and because of our friendship, like committed to maintaining like yeah our very real human relationship that we have with each other. Like this didn't come out of nowhere. This is born from years over a decade of friendship, and that's really cool too.